Hello. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I am so happy to be here with you for a new video. Today, we are gonna talk about, first of all, let me take the time to send out a big shout out to my pastor, my favorite pastor in the world, Pastor David. Pastor David is the one who told me to come and talk about this subject, to talk about this topic. So, Pastor David, here we go. Here we go. So today we are gonna talk about how to cover your mate. How to cover your mate. So do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. I am coming right back. What does it mean to cover your mate? When we talk about to cover your mate, it simply means to pray for your mate. It simply means to intercede for your mate. It simply means to stand in the gap for your mate. So when somebody's talking about, are you covering your husband? Are you covering your wife in prayer? That just means to pray for this person, to intercede for this person, to stand in the gap for this person. But why do we have to do that? If the person is praying for themselves, why do we have to do that? Why do we have to pray for, our mate? Before, I did not even know there was such a thing as praying for my spouse and things like that. So when we talk about covering, your mate, your partner, your husband, your boyfriend in prayer, why do we have to do that? It's very important for you to cover your mate in prayer, because the reason is you live with the person, or you have a relationship with the person, so you kind of like know a lot about this person. You know their flaws, there are things that they do that you don't like, there are things about the person that you know this person in and out. So it's very important for you to cover your mate, because a lot of time people have things about them, that are not so good, and they don't even know about it. They don't have any clue that, they dealing with this specific issue. Or a lot of time they know that they have this issue, but they don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Or sometimes they might know it's a bad thing, but because that thing become part of them, become like a second nature to them, so they don't feel like the urge to remove that thing from their life. So this is why us, when you're looking at your mate, when you're looking at your partner, when you're looking at your boyfriend, and you see something bad about them, and you see something that needs improvement, you see something that that doesn't go right with the word of God or with the will of God, it is your job to go in prayer and pray for this person. It is your job to stand in the gap and call on for the mercy of God for this person. In there, that's something that I use. That's something that I didn't know anything about. Before, what I used to do, like me personally, what I used to do, I used to complain a lot. Like I will go to God and just complain and start complaining to him. And in another word, it's just like bashing my husband, like bashing him, and just say, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. Like, why do I have to deal with this? Why me? Why this? Why that? Why that? I will always go to God and approach him in the stance. God does not want that from you. The reason that God doesn't want you to have that attitude, because God is only the one that can judge a person. You do not have the right to judge anybody. You do not have the right to point finger at anybody. Rather they doing something wrong, you still don't have the right to talk bad about this person. You have to approach the situation in a loving way, in a loving manner, because that is what God does for us. God doesn't judge us. God doesn't talk bad about us. He just approach us in a loving manner. And this is the same thing God is expecting from us, when it comes to other people, when it comes to our mate, when it comes to our partner, when it comes to our husband or wife and things like that. God wants us to approach it in a certain way, and the right way to approach it is to pray for this person, is to ask God mercy for this person. Remember, Moses stand in the gap for the people of Israel. So when there was something going on and the people of Israel was complaining and they didn't like this, they didn't like that, they didn't want to do this, they didn't want to do that, guess who was interceding for them? Moses was interceding in front of God for them. It was not Moses. And God was even upset at Moses when Moses got tired with the people of Israel, because that was not Moses' place to judge the people of Israel. That was not Moses' place to get upset at the people of Israel. So this is the same thing for us when we are in a relationship. It is not your right to bash this person. It is not your right to talk bad about this person. Even when you go in prayer in front of God, God is not even gonna listen to you. Because I remember myself one day, and I was just going to God and just complaining about my husband, like just bringing all all his issues, all his flaws. I was just laying them right there in front of God, and I was like, God, this is just not right. That's unfair. I don't want to deal with this and all. And the answer that God gave me that day was, Sophia, do you know that my husband's name is Jean? He said, do you know that Jean is my child also? Do you know that Jean is the apple of my eye, just like you are? Yes, God said it to me. He said, do you know that he is my child? So in another word, God was saying to me, do you know that you are coming to me and complaining to me about my own child? Is that what you're doing? So the moment God said it to me, I was just like, whoa. And when God reveals something to you, you could spend like 2-3 days. It's just so much. So this is why I'm saying to you today, we have this thing to just complain about our spouse, to just talk about the bad thing, to just talk about the things that they are doing wrong and things like that. It's not your job. Your job is to cover. If God has given you the eyes, if God has given you the spiritual eyes to see what's going on with that person, guess what? God wants you to bring that person to him in prayer. God is expecting that from you. God is not expecting, God doesn't even understand the complaining language. The complaining language doesn't even make sense to God. The God doesn't even answer to that. God doesn't even understand that language. The angel don't even understand the language of complaining. The only language that God will understand from you is prayer. Pray for this person. Pray for your spouse. Pray for your boyfriend. Pray for your husband to be, your wife to be. Pray for them, cover them in prayer. Like, let's say, for example, you are dealing with somebody who is lazy. Let's just say that person you're dealing with is a lazy person. Pray for that person. Pray for them. Pray for them, because whenever there is something wrong with us, God doesn't just let us go. God doesn't just say, you know what, I just give up on you. You know, God doesn't just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just gonna give up on you. I don't want to deal with that. God doesn't do that. So what give us the right to do it to somebody else? You know, judge not, and you know, the Bible said, judge not and you will not be judged. Judge not and you will not be judged. So it is never okay. It is never okay to complain about somebody else, you know, flaws, or complain about somebody else's issue or challenges. It is not okay. If you are in a relationship with somebody right now and you have an issue with this person, your first thing to do is to go to the Father and lay out the burden and pray to him, cover him, you know, cover this person in prayer. That's our attitude. That's what God is expecting from us. A lot of time God doesn't hear the complaining. That's why the person never change. You know what I mean? So the moment you start doing that, watch God work in your life, because I seen him doing it in my relationship. I seen it doing it in my relationship. You know, prayer give us great, you know, prayer brings clarity. Prayer, when you pray about something, it brings clarity. God takes you to the root of that problem and starts showing you things in the spirit. He starts showing you things that your natural eyes couldn't see. So when we want to improve our relationship, when we want to improve, you know, our marriage or whatever's going on, when we want to do that, the best thing to do is not to complain. The best thing to do is to go in prayer, is to present the case to God, so God can open your eyes so you can see behind everything, so God can show you the root of this problem, so God can take you to the origin, or so God can take you to the bottom of this problem, so God can show you, so God can open your eyes and bring you great clarity about this issue. So God can do that for you. You know, our thing is not to complain, is not to talk bad about the person. And I know, you know, I've done it. I probably still doing it. You know what I mean? But you know, we have a responsibility. So another thing that I wanted to there is a verse in the Bible, you know, that says God will do exceedingly abundantly above all thing we ever ask or think. Above all thing we ever ask or think. If your spouse or if your mate is dealing with an issue and you never pray about it, you never ask God to change the person, you never ask God to bring you clarity about this issue, you know, you never ask God, how can God fix it? How can God go above it and fix it when you are complaining? But when you have the right attitude and you really within your heart, deep down within your heart, you want the change for this person, you want this person to be a better person, and you start going in prayer for this person, you start interceding in behalf of this person, you start, you know, standing in the gap for this person, guess what? God will do exceedingly abundantly above all you ever ask or think. So the thing that you never think about, the thing that you didn't even ask in prayer, you know what I mean? God is gonna make it 10 times better. Or the little thing that you ask God to change about this person, God is gonna change it 10 times better. That's what he will do. That's what he was never say, when you complain about it, this is what I'm gonna do. No, so we have to start complaining. And another thing that I want to bring, there is something that call, prophesy, speak life into this person, speak life into this that person. And there's a verse in the Bible also that says, when you decree a thing, it shall be established. When you decree a thing, it shall be established, right? So when you see, let's say you are dealing with a lazy spouse or a lazy boyfriend, whatever, instead of saying to the person, oh, you are lazy, I can't stand you, I can do this. No, you need to fix, the way that you talk with your mouth. You prophesy over this person and you said, God, my husband is not lazy. My husband is a great man of God. My husband is a servant of God. My husband loves to work. My husband is a good provider. My husband is no matter what your natural eyes are telling you, guess what? You prophesy against this thing. Whatever your natural eyes are telling you, guess what? You prophesy exactly the opposite of what your natural eyes are telling you. You don't go ahead and amplify, the problem. You don't go ahead and amplify the situation and say, oh, you are lazy, you are no good, you are a loser, you'll never do anything in your life. Don't ever say that, because remember, the power of life and death is in your tongue. So if you really want the person to change, guess what you do? You prophesy over this person. Remember when God, the prophet, and God said to the prophet, prophesy over this bone. The bone, they were already dead. There was no life in the bone. And the moment the prophet started prophesying, over the bones, guess what? Life came in. That is what you have to do. Prophesy over that thing. Prophesy over that thing. Speak life, the exact thing. Let's say your spouse is not a great spouse. Let's say your spouse is not a great spouse. Instead of you saying, oh, you are no good, no, say, you are great. You will do great things. You will achieve great things. You speak life into the person. You prophesy over this person. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So, us, a wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, even if you're single, let me say something to you. Even if you are single right now, you still could pray for the person that you are waiting, that you are praying God for, that you are expecting God to bring you. You see, because guess what? God already know who he's gonna bring to you. God already know who you're gonna marry. So what do you do in the meantime? In your season of being single, what do? You start praying for the person that God is gonna bring you. So you can start prophesying over this person. That's faith. That's faith. You start prophesying over this person and say, God, you will bring me a great man of God. God, you will bring me a great woman of God. My husband will be a great man of God. My husband will know God. My husband will serve God. My husband will be a great provider. My husband will love me and I will love my husband. You could start prophesying over this person, or even the person who are in a relationship or not and are not married. You still can prophesy over this person because you are in a relationship with the person. You see the person, you see all the issue, you see all the things that you would love to change, you see all the things that you would love to have in this person. Yes, you see that. So you still can prophesy over this person. You still can do it. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you learned something from this video and now start changing and start shifting your conversation and start changing the way that you talk about or pray about your husband, and now start embracing the person that God has put next to you and start covering them and start interceding for them. Okay, so I'll catch you on the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. All right, bye-bye.